Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my June book review, and it is a little bit late in coming to you because it's mid-July right now, I'm not gonna lie. July has been a busy month for me though, and so yeah, that's enough for the excuses. I'm just a little bit late, and I'm really hoping that I can now get back on track with my July book and such, but we will cross that bridge when we get there. So June's book of the month was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Kesey. This is a classic novel, which also was turned into a very classic film, which I have watched. The way I do my book reviews here is I'm just gonna basically give you a spoiler-free yes or no kind of a rating, and then I'm going to go a little bit further into the book if you want to hear more. I won't spoil things, but I will discuss it a little bit more. So let's start off, and I'm going to give this book a big 2 thumbs up. It's a classic for a reason. It was very good. I highly recommend it. Like, I would definitely read this again. I do think the book is better than the movie. Some background on this. I actually watched the movie when I was in high school. I think I was like a freshman in high school, and my dad wanted me to watch it because it was a classic movie, yada yada. Jack Nicholson is in it. He's amazing. Danny DeVito is in it. Oh no, why am I blanking his name? The Lloyd guy. Andrew Lloyd? No. I'm thinking of like Andrew Lloyd Webber. Why, I can picture him. It's Doc from Back to the Future. He's in it. That's like his first film. Anyhow, I remember really liking the movie when I was a freshman. Like, I remember thinking like, oh, that was a good movie. And cut to me wanting to read the book, and it was perfect because I remembered that it was good and I loosely remembered what it was about, but I did not remember specific details. And so even while reading this, my memory was jogged about the film, but I wasn't, like, I didn't remember how it ended, or I didn't remember like which character the ending happened to and stuff like that. So it was really cool. And then we rewatched the movie again after I just finished this, and it was great. I highly recommend the film, but I definitely recommend reading the book first. Okay, so with that said, a little background about what this is about if you've never heard of it, or maybe you've heard of it but don't know what it's about. It is about a mental institution in Oregon. It takes place here. The author is from here. So that's also cool because they make a lot of little references to parts of Portland and parts of Oregon. It's an adult mental institution in the 1960s. And so I think this was written, yeah, in 1962. So there are definitely some kind of like politically incorrect, but probably honestly historically accurate, unfortunately, themes in this, or like parts of the book, or just ways that certain things are phrased. I definitely feel like you can feel the vintage vibe of this book. I could feel that it was written in a different time period. Not just that it took place in a different time period, but that it was actually written in a different time period. And so that was kind of cool. I mean, that was just like a real mild element. It didn't really affect things, but when I think about it, I could tell that it was written in the 60s. So it's about this mental institution, and there is a nurse who is in charge of this particular wing, and her name is Nurse Ratchet, and she is like the antagonist of the whole thing, but it's hard to describe. It's very like psychological. Like, she doesn't necessarily outwardly do anything specific to make her the villain, but like she does. I don't know, I'm not explaining this well. It gives you just a lot of insight on kind of like how mental health can sometimes be perceived, and how, I mean, especially in the 1960s, there's a lot more support, I think, behind mental health, and like a lot of laws have changed. Like, I will tell you this much, electroshock therapy and like lobotomies and all of that were like legal during this time. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, I don't know the specific dates, but like those are themes in this book. So I don't know, it's just kind of insightful and like a little bit sad in terms of people who have mental disabilities or things like that. And anyway, there is this character named R.P. McMurphy who shows up to this mental hospital one day, and he basically shakes up the whole system. Like, he is very different to all of the other men there, and he kind of like can recognize that all these men are just like in the system, right? And they think that they have to follow like Nurse Ratchet's every command, and they don't have to question anything. Like, when the doctors and the staff will give the patients like pills and they say, oh, here, it's medication time, and like what are they even taking? Like, they don't even know, but they do it because they're just following the system. They're following the system. And so R.P. McMurphy definitely like shakes things up, and he ruffles Nurse Ratchet's feathers big time, and they kind of go back and forth. But it's actually really cool because it's kind of like the whole, let's play the game of who can act like they're less affected. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you do that with like ex-boyfriends, I feel like sometimes. Like, who can act like I don't care about you, and who can, you know, so they're doing things that are definitely getting to each other. But neither of them want to show it. I don't know. I'm trying to keep this vague because there are definitely some things that I don't want to spoil. But the book, one of the biggest differences between the book and the movie is that there's a character named the Chief, and he's maybe my favorite character. I also like McMurphy, but the book is told through his perspective, and in the film, it's not told through anyone's perspective. It's just like, there's not a narrator or anything. It just kind of shows everything. And so you get to know a lot more about the Chief and a lot earlier on in the book than you do in the film. So I don't know if I kept that too vague or what. If anybody has read this and wants to discuss it further, go ahead and drop me a comment. I just didn't want to spoil it for anybody, but I definitely recommend this. And I'm pretty sure some people had to read this in high school. Like, it's like that type of a classic book, but it's a good one. Like, it's one that you want to read. Like, for me, that I also feel that way about To Kill a Mockingbird, The Great Gatsby. Like, yes, it was annoying that in high school we had to write essays and stuff on those books, but there's a reason that they're classics, and I love them. And I never read this in high school, but I'm very happy that I read it now, and I definitely want to reread it again at some point. So 2 thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's hope that my July book review is not late, but that means I need to lock myself in a room and read the actual book. But like I said, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this. Subscribe. I do book reviews every month, as well as a bunch of other lifestyle, beauty, etc. content, and it would make my whole day. Okay, love you guys. Mwah. Bye. My hair looks freaking whack. I look weird. I'm in a getaway car. I left you in the motel bar. I mean, electro thought. How do I look so ugly?